Good morning. Welcome to Market Mashup, our weekly recap of financial markets and what we have in store this upcoming week that might impact your stock and bond portfolios. I'm Scott Naska, president of Generation Capital Management. Mixed market last week. The Dow Jones was up 0.8%, S&P was up 0.4%, and the NASDAQ was just slightly lower, down 0.2%. So not much move last week overall. Looking at the summation of the total week, we do have a lot of information coming out this week with earnings that we'll talk about a little bit later. Just wanted to put that on the radar. I think the market's waiting for those numbers to come out and just took a little lull last week. Looking at the bond front, we have the 2-year at 5.06, the 10-year at 4.62. So we have a 44 basis point inversion in the yield curve where the shorter end of the market is higher in yields than the longer end. Like I said, this is something we've talked about every week, and it basically leads to economic slowdowns and recessions going forward. So a 44 basis point inversion is still quite large, not as large as it has been earlier this year where we hit it over a full 1%, but still something to pay attention to. The market still sees a lot of risks out there in terms of economic data points. A lot of information coming out this week. We have retail sales on Tuesday. Housing starts come out on Wednesday. There's 17 Fed speaker events this week, including Fed Chairman Powell speaking on Thursday. And, leading up to 2 weeks, we have the November Fed meeting that will be coming out. So all eyes will be on that in a couple weeks to see if the Fed does decide to move interest rates higher by another 25 basis points or keeps them steady as they have been over the last meeting. Something that markets are going to start paying attention to as we get closer to that meeting. Q3 earnings coming out this week, in full earnest, with a lot of companies starting to release. Financials will be the first ones that come out, so we want to start paying attention to see if the companies start to provide any guidance in terms of how they view their earning potentials over the next quarter, 6 months, and a year. Hopefully they'll provide some guidance to give us an idea in terms of some troubles that might be on the horizon in terms of what they see with consumer spending or any other economic data points. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Website www.gencapmgmt.com. Our team's ready to answer any questions that you might have. Give your portfolio a second opinion. Make sure that your allocations are lined up with your risk tolerances and your goals and objectives. We have some interesting topics in terms of asset management as well as financial planning with John's top tips. So they might spur conversations and discussions that you might have just to make sure you're ready for retirement or if there's any big events coming up. We're happy to help out any way we can. Please feel free to give us a call. Once again, my name is Scott Naska, president of Generation Capital Management, and this is Market Mashup. Have a great week, everyone.